Attention all you rule breakers, you misfits and troublemakers, all you free spirits and pioneers, all you visionaries and nonconformists. Everything the establishment has told you is wrong with you is actually what's right with you. You see things others don't. You are hardwired to change the world.
You going?
It's going.
Okay. Good morning. My name is Clifford Mahooty. I'm a Zuni Pueblo Indian from New Mexico Reservation, the Zuni Indian Reservation, and I'm here at the 20th International UFO Convention in Scottsdale. And it has been quite an experience for me to have finally work with a group that combines all the different aspects of ufology, star people concepts, paranormal activities, history that deals with UFOs, not only the technical side but also the spiritual side. It used to be that a lot of the UFO people were talking about that they come from outer space. Back in the 1950s into the 60s, there's a lot of things that were happening, especially in the movies, that talk about the invasion from people from other planets. Prior to that, of course, as everybody knows about the Roswell incident back in 1947. So it's a combination of things that required the getting together of different groups of people, different backgrounds, whether they were scientists, military, and for a long time it was sort of like the exclusive group of in the military sector, which was held probably in a secret type way. Recent times they've finally included American Indian, the original people of this continent and other continents, like down in South America, Mexico, our brothers to the north, and they've always had history of UFOs. Even in the European countries, the Middle Eastern countries, there's also records of it, some of which were in the Bible. A lot of writings from different groups, Chinese, other groups that have written about this, whether by story, whether by incorporation in their concepts. But the American Indian has always had that direct connection because those are the ones that gave the American Indian and the indigenous tribes the way to take care of each other, the planet, and all living things that are on the planet, whether they be animal life, whether they be plant life, or other lives that we cannot normally see, which is what we call the spirit world. So there has been a lot of misunderstanding in the past about things that are on record. For example, one of the latest findings are the petroglyphs all over the world, but primarily out here in the Southwest. There were Indian tribes, indigenous Indian tribes, that had to put their records on something permanent. And in this case, they put it on the rock walls, protected away from the elements, the rain, the windstorms. And so you go out here in the Southwest, in any given direction from here, you can find petroglyphs. Some of them are still out there that has never been seen by other people. Some of them has been out there for many centuries. Nobody knows how many centuries. And one of the things that I've learned recently is that there are also petroglyphs of the Orientals that are side by side with the original inhabitants of the Indian ancestry. And so when we have meetings like this one here, we go through a lot of these different subjects, and we're still trying to figure out how things happen to become, especially the connection between the star people concept, the phenomenon of how do flying saucers come from different parts of the universe, different star systems within our solar system, and also the connection that has been made by other groups of other places, like, for example, the Arcturian people, the Pleiadian people, and Syrians. And so there's a whole bunch of them. And within recent times, there have been a lot of people that claim to be direct descendants of those type of people from outer space. However, in the case of the American Indian, I have yet to hear of any group that says that we came from this planet, we came from Mars, we came from a planet out there in a different star system. The common theme of the American Indian community is that we were given the instructions, we were given the protocols by the star. We were created on this earth. We were not brought in from any other star system, any other planet. We were always here in a very primitive form, but through their efforts, we became what we are. Sort of like in the concept of the Anunnaki, where they had an interbreeding hybrid system or engineering of sort to make advanced man. And the archetype in Indians of the Southwest especially has been that the star people or whoever they were the one that improved the human, or what later became a human being, in many different ways, whether it was by including splicing of other gene systems, or advancing ideas, or incorporating methodologies, or at least some type of a way to make a functional human being. But it has always been that the American Indian has always had a spiritual aspect of it, not only within themselves, but also with other living things. The American Indian believes that, and other Aborigines believe that everything has life. Whether it be a plant life, whether it be animal life, or things that a lot of people don't consider, like the trees and the rocks and different things that make up the earth.
So do you think we're getting ready for an overt entry into our reality from some extraterrestrial races?
I believe that this has happened in the past. So right now if you look at some of the teachings of the Hopi, the Zuni, the Southwest Indian tribes, which I'm pretty well familiar with, is that we have always had a time schedule. And the time schedule had other elements that with it. It's the if this happens, then this will happen. It's a deductive reasoning with physical things that will occur not only within or on the planet and within the planet, but other things that are of what we call the upper world people. So if you look at, for example, the Hopi, the Zuni, and all that, we consider this as the fourth world. The other three worlds were destroyed in the past. So they all believe, or we all believe, that this is toward the end of this present Earth as we know it,
Which is the beginning of the fifth world.
which would become in the fifth world. I think there was a lot of misinterpretations. For example, when we had the Mayan calendar,
Yeah.
it's the end of the world type situation. It's more complex than that, but I believe that this was a lot of misinformation, which is now been, especially with the internet not right now. It used to be that, well, it's got to be true because it was in National Enquirer. Now the attitude is that it's got to be true because it's on the internet.
Yeah.
And if you look at all the websites, you have to kind of work your way through that, and you have to have somebody with a resource and the common sense to say that a lot of things is not going to happen.
Yeah, you need a lot of discernment when you're researching or doing any kind of investigative work, you know.
Mhm.
Well, thank you for your time,
Thank you.
and I really appreciate it.
Sure.